Okay, we're gonna do 8-3. So I'm gonna do it really fast as we go. So we're multiplying a polynomial. So earlier in the last section, we did a multiplication. We're gonna apply our chapter 7 rules in this section. This is why we learned our chapter 7 rules. And so that we can do this. So Stuart, earlier when you wanted to change that exponent, and probably somebody else wanted to change that exponent, this is where that's going to happen. Because now I'm multiplying.
Wasn't that we were just doing,
I don't know what that happened.
worksheet 2?
Yes, but we only multiply by a -1. Now we're multiplying with a number and a variable. Okay? So when I do this, pay attention. Pay attention. Ask your question in a second. So the -3 is going to multiply by the 7, and I'm going to get what? -21, right? My x squared is going to multiply by my x squared. I'm going to apply rule number 1 from chapter 7. And what am I going to do with my exponent? It's going to be x to the fourth. Because I'm going to add my 2 plus 2. Right?
Yes.
What's my exponent on this -x?
1.
Very good. Some of you got that question wrong on your test, right? So I'm going to do -3x squared times -x. What number is in front of my -x?
1. No, 4.
Yeah.
1.
Specifically -1, right? So -3 times -1 is going to give me +3. X squared times x to the first, I have to apply my first rule from chapter 7. I'm going to add my exponent, so I'm going to get x to the
4. Right?
2 plus 1,
3.
3. Okay? Good. And now I'm going to do -3x squared times 4. -3x squared, -3 times 4 is?
-12.
-12. And then I have no variable to add, but that's x squared is going to come with. So this is my answer for number,
How'd you
that
get x
first
squared?
example, from here.
Wow.
So this x squared, because there's nothing there, so that the x squared just comes with. If there would have been an x there, then I would have added my exponents, but because there's nothing there, it just follows along. Okay? So now let's look at another example. Let's do it again. So 5a squared times -4a squared. Multiply your coefficients. You're going to get -20. A to the what? 4th power. Exactly. Okay? 5a squared times 2a, I'm going to get 10. A to the what power?
Second.
Here's a second, and here's a
1.
imaginary 1. I have to add those together, so I'm going to get a 3. Okay? Once you start doing this, you'll see it's pretty quick. 5a squared times -7, I'm going to get
35.
what kind? -35 what?
A squared.
Amen. Perfect. Good? -35a squared. Okay? Make sure you're writing this down so that you can refer to which problem it looks like when you're doing your worksheet.
Yeah.
So you can use your notes. Okay? So now, what about this? You should have been writing when I was doing it. Sorry, I'm not going to. I get it. So now I have this polynomial, or this binomial being multiplied by 2p, and over here, I have this binomial being multiplied by -5, right? Right? And so it's important to make sure that you see that distinction. Whatever, you know what I meant. You see the difference, right? So I've got to distribute 2p into the first polynomial and the -5 into this polynomial. It's important that you see that. This minus sign separates this out to be by itself. You see that? This is something you guys mess up. You want to always do this 2p to everything, but that minus sign makes it a whole nother section. Yes? Do you see that? Nadia, put your phone down. Do you see that? Okay, so I'm going to do 2p times this. What am I going to get? Be specific. Thank you. -8p, what, Enrique? -8p what? The third. Because there's a little 1 right there. Okay? What am I going to get when I do that?
Plus 10p
10p what?
to the third, second.
To the second.
Oh.
Because there's a little 1 here and there's a little 1 there. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? So now, that's that part.
And then we just put the plus 10 in between.
Now I've got this -5 and I'm doing my -5 times this. -10 what?
P to the third power?
Is there a p out here?
To the second.
Just to the second. Watch this. -10p squared. What like term does that have? This, right? So if I write that underneath here, because I'm going to have to add all my like terms together eventually, if that's underneath there, then I'm good. -5 times 20 is going to give me what?
-100.
-100. Does that have a like term
No.
in the first part?
No.
No. And now I have to add these together because I have to combine my like terms. These are like terms. What's going to happen to them? They're going to be 0. They'll cancel out. So those will 0. So my answer is going to end up with my -8p cubed will just come down
Minus 100.
minus 100.
That's it.
That's it. So you're combining like terms after you multiply that next one. So we're just going to do one of these examples. This is like that first example we just did, so we're going to skip that one. Do you want to do 2 or 3? Which one looks more difficult to you? Probably 3, okay? Yeah, you want to do 3? So we're just going to do one of the examples. I'll write the answers down for the other ones. But as I'm doing this, I want to make sure that I've got this correct. So 3 is interesting because it has a T out here, but there's only T's in one spot out here inside. So pay attention to this. So I'm going to multiply my 15th T times my 10y cubed T to the 5th. 15t times my 10y cubed t to the 5th. This is super, super, super important. Nadia, you need to pay attention. You need to stop doing what you're doing right now and pay attention, please. 15 times 10 is what? 150. Right? Yeah, are there any y's to multiply by? No. So that comes down. T to the what?
6 power.
Correct. How did I get t to the 6th power?
Because T
There's an imaginary one here.
Plus 5 is 6.
The 5 there. 1 plus 5 is 6. Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm doing.
So the T comes after because the T is after with the.
Yep.
Alright.
Yep. Okay. What am I going to get here? 15 times 5 is what? 75. Positive or negative?
positive.
Okay, so you're gonna do it in chunks. Any y squareds? Any y's on the outside?
No.
Nope. So my y squared, t to the what?
T to the second.
T to the second. Okay? Okay. Negative 2y. Negative 2y, I'm going to multiply that in. So negative 2y times y t squared. What are my y's going to end up to be?
Negative 2.
Y squared. So I'm going to have y squared t squared. Do I have one of those in my previous problem?
Y squared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y squared, T
So this is going to end up underneath here. So negative 2 y squared t squared. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Negative 2 times, there's a 1 here, gives me my negative 2. Y times y gives me my y squared. And then my t squared just comes with. Now, you see that? Why do you keep shaking your head?
I'll say this.
You said, yeah. Okay. Negative 2 times 4y squared, what's that going to give me? Everybody.
Negative 8y squared.
Negative 8,
Y to the third power.
negative 8, y to the third power. Because again, there's a little 1 here, and 1 plus 2 is 3. Everybody see that? Everybody over there on the left, you see that? You see that? Do you see that? You've shut down. So you can just watch the video, I guess, because you're not really paying attention. I see that. Hopefully you are.
You bring down the 150?
Well, is there anything added to?
No.
Nope.
So you just leave it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing to change. Y cubed, t to the 6.
Plus,
Wait.
Plus. What?
73.
Yep.
73.
Y squared t squared.
Yeah.
Right? I can add them together because they're a y squared t squared. Nothing changes for the term. We just look at the number in front. Anything to add the negative 8y cubed
No,
to?
so put it down.
Just bring it up. Good?
Yeah.
All right.
It's not good.
I will add the answers to the other ones if you want to try them. Just make sure you get it right.
I just get mixed up and the freaking ones are not even there.
Understandable, and that's why go slow. Take your time doing this because the slower you go initially, the better you'll get it, the less mistakes you'll make, and then the faster you'll be able to get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know? So that's your answer for number 1. If you want to write it down and then figure it out and figure out how I got that, that would be not a bad idea. And then I will put the answer for number 2 down. Are you done copying it? So that's what you want to get if you multiply that in. And then for number 2, you should get 13x squared plus 9x minus 7x cubed minus 12. So you're going to distribute your 3 first, then distribute your negative x, align and add after you when you distribute that negative x, and then add anything together. Okay? So